Niki Lauda is one of the greatest Formula One champions in history who dominated the sport in the mid-1970s. And he is famous for his monster-like appearance that was gifted to him by the sport because of a fiery accident during the 1976 German Grand Prix. After that tragic incident, no one ever thought that he would race again. But this man was observed driving a Formula One car just 6 weeks after his accident, with bandages full of blood seeping from fresher wounds. So today, we are going to discuss the courageous story behind Niki Lauda. But before we proceed, hit the subscribe button and smash the bell icon for more exciting updates. Niki Lauda was a racing driver and an aviation entrepreneur from Austria, who was able to win 3 world championships by driving for both Ferrari and McLaren, which were the 2 greatest teams of the era. Niki Lauda is someone from a wealthy industrial background in Austria, and his family didn't want to see their son as a racing driver. Regardless of the interest of the family, he decided to start racing minis in 1968. With the success he enjoyed there, Lauda decided to move into Formula V series, which was very famous in Central Europe. Even though Lauda was from a rich family, his family never supported the 3-time world champion's racing career, so he got a bank loan worth £30,000 and secured a small sponsorship from Bosch to reserve a seat in the March team, which competed in the 1971 Formula 2 Championship. With the success he showed as a Formula 2 driver, he was promoted quickly to the Formula 1 Championship as his skill set was strong enough to impress the team principal Robin Herd, and drove for March team in both F1 and F2 categories in 1972. However, March cars were not well developed and unable to perform competitively with the rival teams throughout the 1972 season. At one point, both the March cars were disqualified from the Canadian Grand Prix at Motorsport Park. Niki was totally unhappy about the position of the March team in that year and secured another bank loan to buy a seat in the BRM for the upcoming season. But his plans derailed as BRM didn't possess a strong challenger to unleash the true potential of this driver with a first to win a championship. But his 3rd place finish at Monaco was sufficient enough to catch the attention of Enzo Ferrari. When Lauda's BRM teammate Clay Regazzoni left the team to join Ferrari, Enzo Ferrari inquired him about Lauda, who had little fame at the time. He talked with a positive vibe about this young driver from Austria, and Enzo was interested in signing him as a driver for the next season. However, Ferrari team had a very bad start to the 1970s and was under a reconstructing of the team under Luca di Montezemolo for the upcoming season. Ferrari team had little faith in the newly signed Niki Lauda, and he was able to improve it by recording a 2nd place finish in his debut race for Ferrari at the season-opening Argentinian Grand Prix. 3 races later, he recorded his first ever Grand Prix victory and the first for Ferrari since 1972 at the 1974 Spanish Grand Prix. Providing big proof of his pace and skills, he scored 6 consecutive poles in that year. Unfortunately, his inexperience and reliability issues of the Ferrari Challenger allowed only 1 more victory for Lauda in that season. With that Dutch Grand Prix victory, he was able to finish the season as 4th in the championship standings. The 1975 season started with some mixed results for Lauda, as his best finish was only 5th place within the first 4 races. But Lauda was able to win 4 races out of the next 5, with the all-new Ferrari 312T building his path towards a championship win. He was able to seal the Drivers' Championship with a 3rd place finish at the Italian Grand Prix and recorded 1 more victory at the United States Grand Prix. His teammate Regazzoni was also in good form throughout the season, and as a result of that, Ferrari was able to clinch the Constructors' title as well. That was something special for the Maranello-based team, as they had not been able to win a Constructors' title in 11 years. In that year, he became the first ever driver to record a lap time less than 7 minutes in the old layout of the Nürburgring. Lauda's 3rd season at Ferrari started with a tension between him and the new team principal Daniele Aldetto. Despite all the dramas inside the team, the Austrian driver was able to win 4 of the first 6 races and finish 2nd in the remaining 2. He made his path to the 2nd driver's title with the 5th victory at the British Grand Prix. Unfortunately, Lauda experienced a huge crash during the race at Nürburgring and his Ferrari burst into flames. After that collision with the embankment, Lauda further collided with Brett Lunger's car that was running behind. Lauda was very unfortunate and he was trapped inside the wreckage of the burning car. Drivers Arturo Mazzario, Lunger, Guy Edwards and Harold Ertel arrived at the crash site and tried to get Lauda out of the car, but Mazzario was the one who saved the life of the Ferrari driver by pulling him out of the car. Even at that moment, some severe damage happened to Lauda, with burning injuries to his head and hand as well as to his lungs and blood through inhaling the toxic gases. Lauda knew that safety arrangements within the 23-kilometer-long Nürburgring were not enough and he requested his fellow F1 drivers to boycott the race, despite being the fastest driver on the circuit in that period. But the majority of drivers voted against Lauda's decision to boycott the race, and the race was held without any changes to the initial schedule. Unfortunately, an accident happened, and the victim was Lauda, who fought for the increased safety to save the lives of other drivers. No one ever thought that he would race again with the damages that he experienced, but 6 weeks later, he competed in the Italian GP with bandages and plasters on his fresh wounds, recording a 4th place finish. However, he missed 2 races in the championship up to that date. With that advantage, James Hunt decreased his point gap with Lauda to 3 when they were heading to the last race in Japan. That race was severely affected by rain, and Lauda refused to race due to safety concerns despite him losing the championship by doing so. Despite winning the championship the following season, this resulted in the ruin of his relationship with Ferrari management. Lauda had an uncomfortable environment within the Ferrari garage throughout the season, and he also disliked his new teammate Carlos Reutemann. After winning the championship early during the United States Grand Prix, he decided to leave the team earlier before completing the season. Then he joined the Brabham team for the next 2 seasons with a salary of $1 million. But he was not able to do anything he wished with these underpowered Brabham Challengers used for racing. Throughout the 1978 season, Lauda had to experience 9 retirements out of 14 total races of the season. The situation was far worse in the next season as well, experiencing more retirements. So, Lauda, who was a 2-time world champion at that stage, decided to retire at the end of the 1979 season. He returned to racing with McLaren 3 years later with a salary of $3 million. But the first 2 seasons at McLaren were not with strong outcomes, but everything turned in favour of him in the 3rd season. Lauda got a strong challenger which could challenge the title. He was able to clinch the 1984 title after a close battle with his teammate Alain Prost throughout the season. He wanted to move to Renault for the 1985 season, but the agreement was not properly implemented by Renault. The 3-time world champion experienced a very unpleasant 1985 season as he faced 11 retirements out of 14 starts. He was not confident about things happening around him and decided to retire for the 2nd time at the end of the 1985 season. Later, he returned to racing as a consultant for Ferrari in 1993, under the management of Luca Di Montezemolo. Lauda was appointed as the team principal of the Jaguar team in 2001, but was fired from the team with 70 other key figures after its continuous failure. The 3-time world champion became the non-executive chairman of the Mercedes team in 2012, and played a significant role in signing Hamilton to the German team in 2013. Lauda had a kidney problem at the latter part of his life and died on May 20th, 2019 at a hospital in Zurich. And that is how the story of Niki Lauda ended. What do you think about Lauda? Did he deserve more championships than he won? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel to get more exciting Formula 1 news. See you in the next video, guys. Goodbye.